cancer treatment can take various forms and can be very debilitating at various stages of treatment. So it is something that will have to be managed. It is interesting as a separate sideline that the Prince of Wales has started to resume quiet public duties in a sense. He's going to carry out an investiture at Windsor Castle, I believe, this week, and he's going to go to a dinner, I think, on Wednesday, just a one-off return, and then again we'll sort of be easing back into public duties as far as he's concerned. So that is, I suppose, a bit of good news, indicating that the Princess of Wales is making good progress. But in terms of the King, it's very much he will be kept at home, as it were, but he won't be a good patient, I'm pretty sure, because he likes to do an awful lot, and he will be deeply frustrated that he can't fulfill his duties as king in a public nature.
He's a man, though, a very active man, Rupert, isn't he? A man with a pretty solid constitution, which is relevant and important and encouraging at a time like this.
Yes, and actually the royal family are a pretty robust family. If you look at both his mother and father lived well into their 90s. His grandmother lived to 100. So, you know, they do have a pretty resolute constitution. But obviously this is worrying. And it was quite interesting to hear what Jack was just saying a few moments ago. He will want to carry out his important constitutional duties. You remember his mother, just 48 hours before she died, was greeting Liz Truss as Prime Minister and getting out there, even though it was presumably a Herculean effort on her behalf to get ready for that. So I'm sure the King will be wanting to carry on his constitutional duties as much as he is able within the confines of wherever he is recuperating.
Yes, and as for what we see, you know, the rest of us see, Rupert, I mean, you mentioned the Prince of Wales, who has taken on more public duties. He was involved in recent days in an investiture, and one can assume he will do more. Clearly, the Prince will be, you know, largely preoccupied with the condition in his own household. Catherine, his wife, recovering from a visit to hospital too, said to be recovering over a period of months, but still looks as if they're going to make time for more for the Prince of Wales, as well as others stepping up.
Yes, and actually you did notice last week that the Queen was doing some of that heavy lifting on behalf of the royal family. While even these diagnoses were going on, she was out and about and saying that the King was doing fine. Well, clearly he'd recovered. The prostate treatment had obviously gone well, but obviously something else has subsequently come to light. But she's been out and about, and I'm sure she will be managing her schedule so she can still get out and about. But it does put them under increasing pressure, and it probably means that the Princess Royal will be busier, and other members of the working royals. And remember, of course, they've lost a few, so it's going to be for various reasons. So it's going to put a lot of pressure on the royal family to make sure that they're seen to be out and about and still trying to fulfill their sort of duties as members of the royal family, and greeting and meeting and doing as much as possible.
Rupert, do stay with us for a moment, because we have now a couple of statements, one from the Prime Minister and a statement from the leader of the Labour Party, Sir Keir Starmer. I'll read those to you. The Prime Minister's statement says, wishing His Majesty a full and speedy recovery. I've no doubt he'll be back to full strength in no time, and I know the whole country will be wishing him well. So a very straightforward expression of good wishes from the Prime Minister in the last few moments. And the Labour leader, Keir Starmer, on behalf of the Labour Party, says, Keir Starmer, I wish His Majesty all the very best for his recovery. We look forward to seeing him back to swift, full health. And Rupert Bell, I imagine we will now see something of a torrent of statements of this kind, not just from leading figures in this country, but from around the world, because King Charles has his connections established over, well, very many years.
Yeah, indeed, and members of the Commonwealth. So, and he is held in great affection, and it has been, you know, for him, you know, it's been a long time. You know, his mother was much loved and revered around the world, and you have to say that stepping into his new role as the king, it couldn't have been easy. You're stepping in and the pressure is on him. But he does seem to have moved into it with a gentle hand. He seems to have got on with it. He's tried to be as purposeful as possible. And I think people have warmed to his sort of no-nonsense approach to it and getting on with it. There's been very few sort of slip-ups along the way. So I think people have found the transition much easier than people would have expected, because, you know, everyone just knew the Queen. But I think people will be a little bit shocked and surprised by this news, because, as you mentioned, he's a pretty robust and fit character. But this is the nature of cancer. It can just suddenly appear out of nowhere. And the king was obviously now going to have to manage his schedule very carefully. But I'm sure, as you quite rightly say, there will be messages of support from him coming in from all around the world, the Commonwealth, you name it. I'm sure will be expressing their good wishes.
Okay.